Do you guys like dinosaurs fighting machine guns?
Oh,
damn!
What the hell?
Do you guys like popcorn? They needed 140 tons of popcorn to fill this house. Do you guys like teleportation?
We just saw a bullet time effect.
Yeah, a really good one too. Do you guys like Wren and Sam? Well, guess what? We got all those things here for this episode.
It's VFX time. Clip.
So this is a movie called Carry On that's on Netflix. Honestly, this movie kind of feels like LAX the movie.
Wow, like, shooting here would be a nightmare. How did they get the permission to do that?
Yeah, I don't see how you could actually film at the airport. Airports aren't like, oh yeah, we'll take a break for your little movie.
I mean, this could be like an airport set, but that looked like LAX 100%. Well, no, that's LAX paintings. Wait a minute. Wren, don't tell me that this is 100% CGI.
Basically, everything we were watching just then was pretty much fully replaced with CG.
Oh my goodness.
That shot, though, what the heck?
Damn, 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 damn. That's crazy.
So that looks like a real airport terminal.
What blows me away is that, like, the first time you guys watched that, none of the CG cars jumped out at you.
No, none.
They're all CG.
But that Ford Bronco did. The Bronco was the one that was jumping out at me earlier.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I was getting CGI vibes from them, but it doesn't matter. Saying it after the fact is kind of like a loser thing to do, right?
So this sequence was done by a company called Up, UPP. This movie has some of the most realistic cars I've ever seen rendered, period.
Yeah, baby. I love that.
Dude, where do you get all those high quality car assets?
The real work that makes those things look so good is the texture detail, all the grit and grime.
I love the dusty stuff on the Suburban there or whatever.
Yeah, the crazy thing about like car CGI is car paint has like a bunch of layers to it. You know, you have like a sparkle oftentimes in the car paint, which is like flecks of metal. Then you have the paint itself with like a lacquer on top of it, or like some sort of clear layer on top of that, which catches its own reflection. So you have like 3 or 4 or 5 different elements that are all reflecting. And some things are doing metallic reflections, some things are doing anisotropic reflections, and some things are just doing classic, like, plasticky paint reflections. And so making all that on the car, plus like then a dust layer on top of it and a scratch layer on top of that is just, it's really complicated to actually build that realistic looking car shader. They are nailing it with this.
This is at LAX at Terminal 7.
I think I figured out what I'm looking at, and I am incredibly impressed. If what I'm seeing is, oh my God.
What? What?
I've never seen green screen people tracked into a moving shot like this so seamlessly.
Damn,
the reflections.
Like her walking through?
Yeah, 100%.
Crazy.
How the heck?
It's just like, it's like a joke. This is like how people think VFX work. You know, you're like, VFX, it's just green screens and stuff. It's like, I've never even thought about just like straight up green screening extras that are like at the actor's plane, at their distance.
So what this means and why we're kind of blown away by this is because the camera is moving through the shot, there would be parallax on everything within the frame there. And so by sticking a 2D cutout of a person on a green screen into the shot, technically we're not getting any parallax on those people. And this is clearly demonstrating it doesn't matter. But still, the thing that gets me most is how well the reflections are blended in.
Did you know that every single React guest that comes through the studio signs the back of the couch before they leave? I know you guys don't get to typically see that, so we're gonna give you a little autograph back of the couch tour brought to you by today's sponsor, Holtzkern. What I like about every signature is each one is unique. Like Nick Park, he drew Gromit. Check out these two from the Bancroft Bros. They drew their iconic characters Pumbaa and Mushu. Just like each one of these signatures, what I love about Holtzkern jewelry is that each one is completely unique. They're handcrafted in small batches from natural materials like wood, stone, and even gemstones, so no two are ever the same. It's the kind of detail and passion that all of these artists from the couch put into their own work. Check this one out. This one's Seth Rogen. He was the first person to ever sign the back of this couch. And that wasn't like till 3 years into this show. You never know when you're gonna start a new tradition or an everyday habit like signing the couch for React or wearing jewelry. Holzkern makes that really easy. I've been wearing these for a couple months now. This is basically part of my everyday gear now, whether I'm coming to the studio, filming React, or just going to get dinner on the weekend. So a lot of our guests on React come from all over the world, including Raka Raka from Australia. And they're not the only ones going international. Holzkern ships directly from Vienna, Austria, with free worldwide shipping. If you happen to be from the US, your customs fees are covered. There are no surprises at checkout. The last time we talked about Holzkern, a bunch of you guys picked up some pieces using our code, and they're bringing it back. So if you missed out before, now's your chance. All you gotta do is head to holzkern.com/corridor and use the promo code CorridorCrew for 15% off anything on their website. Watches, bracelets, necklace, jewelry, you name it. But everything is limited, so once it's gone, it's gone. Well, this couch ain't full yet, and hopefully we can get some more awesome signatures for you guys, but in the meantime, I'm gonna resume this current React episode.
I was drawn to this movie because of this breakdown, and I thought it was wonderful. So I started watching the movie, and then there's this scene in the movie that literally made my jaw hit the floor and crack the ground.
I know we're about to get wowed with how amazing it is, but the compositing in this shot is freaking world class. Look how they're doing the hair edge. They're doing that proper like stoppage of light where you start to see the blue of the sky again on the edge. Like normally that edge would be replaced with light wrap, and people think, oh, that's light wrap. Like no, it's like the hair literally will make the sky darker and turn it blue.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's a little animated, eh? But
getting a little animated. Started off pretty cool. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, damn.
It's important to note there's two stories happening here. There's the stuff going on inside of the car and the stuff happening outside of the car. The camera stays inside the car the entire time.
Well, like the lens does, but the body and the battery pack would probably,
sure, yeah.
you know, that's how I think. And also the arm.
Of course, yeah, you're talking about the physical limitations and whatnot. Yeah, but the only thing that's real in this entire sequence are the two people. Everything inside the car is CG.
You're right, the seats behind her are CGI. That's crazy.
And if you get a good look at the radio, it'll explain everything because it says they're listening to Weta FM.
Wow.
So this is the original plate, and then we have like various render passes. And there's the entire interior remade from scratch, and then them composited back into it.
Crazy.
They have a stripped down, I think it's a Dodge Charger. They cut pretty much everything off of it. It's on this huge thing that can spin, and when they crash, they literally spin it 2.5 times. And they also have some sort of crazy stereoscopic rig on the camera for not just tracking, but to get a better sense spatially where they are for any time they need to do a digital takeover. I'm sure some of those shots, the back seat is actually real. They're choosing when to use plates versus when to use the digital versions of the stuff.
Well, the thing that I think about when I see this is there's no roof, so like how are they handling that shading on their head?
Exactly, and they had to basically address that by digitally shadowing them somehow. So another really interesting aspect about this is that they wanted to stay true to the geography and the geometry of the highway. So they're going along the highway at like 60, 70 miles an hour, and they're actually traveling through the corresponding parts at the correct point in time. And the footage was also tied into metadata for the GPS location too. So they knew exactly where everything was being filmed. So they knew exactly what the outside of the exterior needed to be for various points of the sequence.
That's nuts. This movie has some of the best VFX I've ever seen in my whole life. It's pretty good.
Remember when you brought Jumper a few months ago?
Yeah.
Check out this. A fan film is maybe the wrong word, but somebody's like, what if we just did it our way?
Device is ready.
Particle effects. All of the smoke and particles we're seeing are interacting with the flow of their motion. So you have to like literally have a CG version of them too. How are they doing the camera moves? I guess they got a robot arm there.
Yeah, it feels like
big open spot, put a little robot there.
Huh?
Excuse me?
there's a lot going on here.
What are we seeing? We just saw a bullet time effect.
Yeah, a really good one too.
That was a really good one.
So I just finished working on this huge bullet time recreation, and I discovered how difficult it is. And this is like a legit bullet time shot, or time slice if you want to be more specific.
So at first I was like, oh yeah, they're using the robot arm again here, but then the camera just kept going, clearly out of the range of any robot arm, and then looking back at where the camera would have started. So I'm wondering if maybe getting a bunch of cameras And making an array and just switching between the cameras is like the easiest way to do something that looks this good.
They credit somebody with making a full 180 GoPro bullet time rig.
Okay.
So you're looking at a GoPro setup, and because it's real footage, they can do really complicated motions, like all the dust and objects on the table, and it looks great. When they did the bullet time sequence for The Matrix, they had still cameras that took a picture and they were all on a trigger. But these days, you can just set all your cameras up to have 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second rolling.
Right.
So every single camera can be rolling in slow motion, and that lets them do an effect that you don't really see very often, which is it's bullet time and then it's frozen time, time sliced, and halfway through, he starts moving in slow motion and then reverses in slow motion, and then it rewinds and it plays again and it pushes forward in time again. Because with the traditional bullet time rig, you're just locked into that one slice of time. Whereas here, because every camera is rolling, you can pause at any camera and play through time.
But like the thing that makes me like kind of question how it was done a little more is how the camera motion comes to, it eases. You see how it ooh, and that easing means you need cameras spaced at like very fine increments to get that smooth look between the shots. Or, I guess you could interpolate it.
Yeah, I bet what you would do there is that you do the camera motion going through it, stretch it out in the timeline to be like super, I mean, you'd be probably using a tool like Topaz or something like that to basically interpolate all the frames to be way more than what you need. And then you fast forward that, so in the timeline, it's like you're editing with a high frame rate clip. And that allows you to get that smooth stop as the camera moves and kind of slows down.
Now they do have to remove the GoPros from all the shots.
Right.
Bravo. As someone who just did a freaking bullet time shot, bravo.
It seems like they kind of made a short that just kind of does like one of every high-end visual effect you can do.
Yeah. Shout out to Mikhail Parkomenko and the rest of the team that worked on this.
We just looked at Jurassic Park Rebirth and we were like, wow, dinosaur effects are so great. Turns out you don't gotta be ILM to do incredible dinosaur effects. Primitive War, a movie about dinosaurs in the Vietnam War. Not realistic, but very cool. I think the budget was like $7 or $8 million for this movie, which is, pretty low, all things considered.
So at $7 million, it's a total toss-up if the CG is gonna be good or not. It really depends on if they found somebody who's like really talented and really passionate.
Oh, look at that.
Those are big babies.
Notice the lighting from their muzzle flashes, though. Yeah, and they're doing the whole thing where they have a light coming from off screen, hitting them with the light.
But like somebody gives a crap. It doesn't cost you money to turn a light on and off, and it just comes down to like people really caring about what they're working on and having time to think about it and put time into it.
The T-Rex looked pretty good, though. Kudos for getting like the mouth correct. I think it's still a little too big.
But it's also in the Vietnam War.
You know how there's the whole misconception about how the T-Rex can only see you if you're moving? If you stand still, you can't be seen? Completely made up, and also very likely the opposite of the truth. The Tyrannosaurus Rex likely had the best vision out of any animal in the history of the planet.
Really?
When you think of an animal that has really, really good vision, what do you think of?
Eagles.
Eagles. Well, T-Rex is the ancestor to the eagle, except their eyeballs are like 5 or 6 inches across. And typically there's a very direct correlation between the size of the eyeball and how good their vision is.
Check out Wren's Scale of Dinosaurs video. Oh, wow.
Look at that composite, by
Wow, that's a challenging composite right there.
the way. Yep.
That's a really challenging composite.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Right?
These are all challenging composites.
That's a challenging
Wow,
composite.
All the leaves on the ground?
The smoke.
Look at that, right?
It's a lot of like secondary touches to it. It's like they didn't just do the T-Rex animation. They like have the hair on its head and like the drool and the interaction with the environment and leaves, like when it's moving its feet there.
The way the skin actually like flexes and compresses whenever it steps.
Oh, this shot. I love this shot.
Oh man, the compositing is crazy.
They tried. That's a practical air cannon that they're compositing in front of the dinosaur, and you can see some of the elements of the like dust and wood chips and stuff that they're even like lifting out of that.
When you have something like a dust cloud, that's a shape, right? It's not flat. It's like it's a volume. And they have this like 3D dinosaur. They have to like have in the smoke partially and out of the smoke partially. And on top of that, they have like light beams, like shadows being cast through that. And it just becomes this really complicated layer of semi-transparent things on top of semi-transparent things and trying to remove things from the picture that were already there. If you guys are trying to deal with compositing these kind of shots that have a lot of like depth and smoke, how would you guys go about doing it?
Well, first off, I would be using a depth mat of the render itself to kind of like dictate where whatever 2D cutouts I have can intersect with it, and trying to extract out the actual dust cloud. I'd probably start by doing some sort of luminance-based extraction and maybe using that as like a mat for additional elements that I would put in, and just have various elements all kind of layered in there to kind of just create that volume.
Yeah.
The more I watch from this, the more I'm blown away this movie was made for under 30 million, let alone the 7.
I've seen so many shots from B dinosaur mashup movies. Dinosaurs in the future, T-Rexes and tornadoes, whatever they call them. Like, the dinosaurs don't ever look good.
And you know what the sad fact is about high budget dinosaur movies? Can't have blood. Kids gotta watch it. They don't put blood in it. I want to see a T-Rex rip somebody in half. That's what they do. They got big sharp teeth, and you never get to see it with lots of money being spent on it. Oh, he's done.
Whoa.
He's donezo. Oh, gnarly. Dang, there's some solid gore in this too.
Primitive War, it has so much more to offer, but we're only going to show that in the extended version of this episode on corridordigital.com. Check it out there.
This movie makes so good on its promise.
It does, it does.
It's like, this is 100% what it was promising.
There's so many shots in this movie that require extensive visual effects. For a movie that costs $7 million, it has absolutely no right to have that many visual effects shots that look as good as they do.
We're always talking about how it's getting easier and easier to shoot things and to like make cool VFX and make movies and stuff like that. Like, I feel like we're just starting to see that realized now with movies that are sub $10 million looking the way they look, with the effects being at the level they are. And you see it with a lot of like A24 films as well. You guys want to see a popcorn-themed effects shot?
What does that mean?
It means exactly what it sounds like. This is from Real Genius, by the way. That's the name of the movie. So they have a laser beam airplane here.
Does the laser from the plane heat up the popcorn?
They're totally lasering the popcorn.
Kent.
Guillermo del Toro. Dude, when you forget to take it out of the microwave.
Oh my God, imagine being on set like that. You're just swimming in popcorn, and whenever you get hungry, you're just like...
This is a surprising amount of popcorn.
Crazy practical effects. I want to give you guys some popcorn facts.
Yeah.
They needed 140 tons of popcorn to fill this house. They ordered popcorn from literally as many places as they could, but they could not get enough popcorn to fill the house for this gig in the time frame they needed, even though this is weeks ahead. They just truly, places like, we cannot pop popcorn for you fast enough to give you enough popcorn. So they bought giant popcorn machines and had them at the movie studio a lot, and they were running them for 6 weeks, popping popcorn non-stop until they had 40 tons of popcorn popped, and another 100 tons of popcorn that they had managed to order, specialty from popcorn factories. They stored it in 38 semi-truck trailers parked at the film set in order to build the house.
Oh my God.
A row of 38 semi-trucks.
Yes, a row
with the containers completely filled to the brim with
popcorn.
Popped popcorn.
They had hydraulic systems in the house to push all this popcorn out the windows.
Oh, wow.
And to reset it takes 24 hours, and they had 2 takes. So they filmed it once, reset the whole thing, filmed other scenes while doing that, and then did it one more time.
I do kind of want popcorn, which makes me think, you know, if they were a little smarter, they'd put this maybe a little earlier into the movie. That hits intermission, everyone gets out of there, gets some popcorn, comes back. But yeah, wow, that's funny. That's funny. That's incredible.
They basically go up and they start eating popcorn and they have a good time. That's the end of the movie, and then Tears for Fears starts playing.
But also the popcorn is breaking all the windows, so in the popcorn is a bunch of shards of glass.
I spent 4 hours this morning trying to find a clip for the show because I had a list of horrible movies that came out in 2025. And I'd seen some jank in them. And I was like, there's gotta be some great bad VFX. The effects are just so mediocre, it's not even worth talking about. It's like they're not bad, but they're not great either. They're just like, they're fine. I don't know, it's really weird because I feel like the bar for VFX has been raised so high that it's like, well, even bad VFX these days are actually not that bad.
Thanks for watching, see ya. See you next week.